Hey guys, you're listening to WSOU. I am Nick, and I am here with Zach from Left Behind. What's going on, man?
Oh, not much. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. And Jerry just put me on to you guys and listened to some of the stuff he sent me. Definitely feeling it. I saw that you guys have your new album coming out April 8th, Seeing Hell, which was a little different than from your earlier stuff I saw with
hmm
Death Take Me. So maybe you want to talk to us a little bit about what you're doing with this project and kind of, since it's been a few years since the last one, what's kind of changed how you put into your music.
Well, the first album, it was, we wrote most of it whenever we were still in a band before that, and we just kind of carried it on whenever we changed the name, and because we kept all the same people with it, so
Okay.
we didn't see any sense in, like, quite making a new band, so we just changed the name and put it out, and then we started working on new stuff, and kind of felt that we just wanted to go a different direction, so we decided to do that with this album, and with it being 2 years, we had a couple singles. We had Hostage and 1% in between, and
Right.
those kind of like, it paved the way for this. It was a good transition, like we feel, and I don't feel like people will be too surprised by what they hear if they've heard those singles and they've heard Rock Bottom and Convulse off of it. Then I think should be right up there with it. But for the people that have heard Death Take Me, it's a big change from that for sure.
Now, what could we expect? Because I looked into a lot of the lyrics from a lot of your songs and the themes and stuff, and also obviously the album title, Seeing Hell. What could we
Mhm.
kind of expect from the lyrics and themes on this one?
Well, it's kind of all over the place. A lot of it's just stuff that's going on in my life. I mean, um, there's like stuff that's going on with other people's lives as well in the band. So some of it's just personal stuff that's um, stuff we felt like we'd write about, and then some of it's just stuff that's going on in the world that we wanted to address, like the song 12 Gauge, being more so with like the police brutality that's been like building up over the past couple of years.
Right.
Yeah, and then like um, there's a like Sync is like it's more so like it's a song that's for like the outcast kids in high school that are more prone to bullying and stuff like that, and it addresses that. And but for the rest of it, it's the stuff like that's like stuff that I've seen, but it's not something I've ever had to experience. But the rest of the album is like it's kind of straightforward, and then like it's something that like we could get, like it's like song by song. It's just something that's either happened to me or has happened to Jordan, Brian, Zach, or Cade.
Right.
And yeah, it's definitely like something that's it's the most personal album we've put out.
Okay. And I definitely hear in the sound, it's a very unique twist on kind of like the whole metalcore, hardcore. There's a little bit of like a sludgy aspect in there as well.
hmm
What kind of what is it that kind of made you guys want to go for what you're going for sound wise?
Well, all of us are like we're about 22, 23 years old, and then
Okay.
Zach, our drummer, his older brother Brian is our guitarist, and he's just turned 28, and he he grew up whenever like CKY was like touring a lot, and
Oh
like
yeah.
he like grew up in high school listening to like Typo Negative and like Danzig all the time, and that's who he was like. I've been friends with him for about 10 years now, and he was the one that got me into those bands first. So there's a lot of like influence from like CKY, Danzig, Typo. We love like Slipknot and Hatebreed and like the heavier stuff like
Oh
that as
yeah.
well. So we just kind of brought together everything that we loved with that kind of music and put it out.
Okay. So you said
Yeah,
you guys are mostly pretty young.
yeah, yeah I think Jordan's 21. Me and Kate are 23, and I know Jordan just turned 22. Me and Kate are 23, and then Zach's just turning 24
Okay. And
here
you guys
soon.
have been at it for a couple of years now, so you guys have definitely starting out this young. You definitely have a different perspective than a couple of people in the scene who start out a little older.
Yeah, and yeah, we've been around it for a while though.
Yeah.
We've always been playing shows since we were like 16 years old, and we've toured most of the country now. We're finally hitting Washington and Oregon on this tour we're doing with Orthodox, Lower AD, and Inside It that starts this Friday, and so we're gonna get to see that, and Other than that, the only part of the country we haven't seen is like the North Dakota, South Dakota, Montana, Wyoming, and Idaho area, and then there's a few states in the Northeast we haven't been to. But other than those states, we've seen the whole country, and there's like a lot of stuff we've fallen in love with, and a lot of cities we can't wait to go back to. So it's definitely been great starting out this young with it, and like finding out all the good spots to go to, and like spots even whenever I'll just be on like a vacation I'll like want to go back to and stuff. So it's really nice.
Oh yeah, definitely. And that was another thing I saw you guys, like you just mentioned, you have your tour coming up. You guys do a lot of touring. You have this one coming up, and then you have the other one in April, May, and then you know
hmm
you have some festival dates. You know, obviously it looks like you guys are like road dogs. You guys are constantly on the road. How is
Yeah,
that perspective? You know, always playing out like live shows and just traveling all the time.
it's great. I mean, I wouldn't want anything else. I mean, it can be a bit stressful sometimes,
Right.
like, eating gas station hot dogs day after day. But I mean, there's still, I mean, it's the good parts outweigh the bad for sure. It's definitely like the most interesting thing I could be doing right now, and it's yeah, definitely. I'm way more than happy with it, and the rest of my band feels the same way. But yeah, we tour. We do. Lately, we've been touring like every other month, which
Wow.
has been awesome. And but usually we'll tour for like 2 or 3 weeks, and we'll have like 2 months off, and then we'll tour again. But lately, with like the new album coming out, we've just been trying to tour as much as possible, and just try and promote the album and do that as much as we could this year.
Okay. And I saw you guys were on some pretty big festivals this year. You're doing South by So What, which the lineup, this is probably one of my favorite lineups I've ever seen for that
hmm
festival. And then with New England Metal and Hardcore Fest too. You know, how is
hmm
that, you know, being a part of those festivals with gigantic, you know, really well known lineups?
Oh, it's awesome. I mean, these are like bands that I've never had the chance to see,
Right.
that I've always wanted to see at festivals I've always wanted to go to. And now the first time I'm seeing these bands and going to these festivals is when I'm playing. So, I mean, there's not really like a good way to like for me to encompass everything that almost are feeling in words. But yeah, we're more like, I mean, we're definitely ecstatic with the way things are going. Like, it's all like everything that's happened in the past like 4 or 5 months has been pretty surreal to all of us, like playing these festivals and getting on like the tours that we're getting on and everything.
Now, who are you most looking forward to seeing on these?
Yeah, at So What, I know that the day we play, because unfortunately we have a show the first day, so we don't get to go there. I would
Okay.
have loved to have seen Citizen and Turnover that first day, but we won't be there for that. But the second day, I'm gonna get to see Cruel Hand and Straight from the Path, which is gonna be awesome because it's like two of my favorite bands that I haven't ever gotten to see, and obviously like the Devil Wears Prada and Under Oath will be really cool to see because I mean those being such huge bands, I'm sure their live show is just insane.
Oh, yeah, they are.
But
Devil Wears Prada
yeah,
and Straight from the Path are ridiculously good.
yeah, I can't wait.
Oh, yeah.
New England though, we get to go for both days, which is awesome. So we'll get to see. I mean, I'll get to see Killswitch Engage, Bury Your Dead, um, like Josta, which will be cool.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Marauder. They're playing like all Master Killer, which is
Okay.
really cool. I mean, that's a band like I never got into heavily, but I mean, I've heard a lot about them, and I've heard that they're just absolutely nuts live.
Yeah.
So that's going to be awesome. Then we play them with our good friends in Burials. Old Wounds is playing the second day. I mean, there's so many bands on this. It's like that one's like, I mean, So What's like it's definitely awesome, but like Metal Fest is definitely like more up our alley. So that one's
So another cool thing that I from following you guys on Facebook, I see that you guys have a pretty good sense of humor. I don't know which one of you guys or if all of you have a part of running the Facebook page, but I really enjoyed seeing like your guys' comments and some of your posts and some of the things that I saw that were really funny. Is I saw Metal Sucks posted a review of the album. And they gave you like an average review. I think it was like a 2.5 out of 5. And you guys commented, if you love drunk cooking, you'll love our album.
yeah, yeah. That was Kate, our bassist. It's yeah, it's a little bit of all of us running the page. Even our booking agent, he'll get in on it too. I mean, like everybody that works with the band, they've all got like the same sense of humor. So
Okay.
all of us, like, yeah, we'll all run the page and like just I don't know. Yeah, we don't take ourselves too seriously, so we we definitely let people know that.
I think that definitely is a benefit for a band, is having that kind of not taking yourself too seriously, because I think, a big downfall for a lot of bands is taking themselves way too seriously.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. And like we just like to have a good time and joke around. So we let that be known. It's like everything online as well.
Oh yeah. And then the other funny thing I saw in there was in your bio, you have Grammy Award for Sickest Band Ever 2016.
Oh, it says that.
Yeah, and I forget, it was in the bio somewhere. It said that. I was like, I have to ask them about that because it's just too funny to not ask them about.
I didn't even know that was in there.
Yeah,
That's incredible.
yeah. I mean,
I have no idea. I feel like it's got to be Jordan or Dan, our booking agent, that did that. Maybe Cade. I don't. That's awesome.
so you vouch then, you are the official Grammy winner for the Sickest Band Ever for 2016.
I mean, it says it, doesn't it? Mhm.
But I always wondered, since obviously a lot of people have, a bad view of the Grammys and how they go about choosing, and obviously not having that much, respect for the metal and hardcore
Mhm.
scene. There's, the metal award, but there's no hardcore. Do you think there's any place for hardcore on the Grammys?
I mean, I don't know. I feel like with like the whole like extreme side of music, with like really heavy metal, or like there's like like Slipknot won a Grammy with like it
Right.
was like mid 2000s. So I feel like if they can do that, then like at that point anything's possible. I mean, with like the stuff going on with like Turnstile, like selling the rights to their record, I think it's to Roadrunner. Like, I mean, something like that is huge for hardcore, and I mean, that's I even feel like their music is like more. It could be like more acceptable to like mainstream than something like Slipknot, where it's like the lower vocals with like the heavy guitar, and like it's. I mean, like this is like more. It's almost like poppy, and like not in a bad way. Like it's an insanely good album.
Oh
Like
yeah.
everyone in my band loves it, but like something like that is like so huge that like I could see them eventually getting to that point where they're playing arenas and like have like they could possibly like get a Grammy. It's like not. I wouldn't say that's like unheard of, or like unable to like for like the genre as a whole.
Right.
Yeah.
And that, speaking off of that other thing, was another thing I was wondering about, because I saw a lot of people commenting about it. You mentioned the whole Slipknot thing. Is that where the name came from? Because Left Behind, obviously one of their song titles, all over YouTube and everything, everyone comments, oh, they sound like Slipknot, and I was like, I don't really see the sound, but I guess since the title, maybe people think, and then they attach it to that.
Yeah. Yeah, we get that all the time, but no, it just happened to just be a name that we thought would be cool for a band,
Oh,
and
okay.
it ended up being a Slipknot song as well. And it was like something we registered, like we knew it was a Slipknot song, but it wasn't like where we exactly derived it from. Yeah.
Someone else was kind of making a joke. They were like, so if their name's Left Behind, they it might has to have something to do with, while they're on tour, because they tour all the time, that one of them got left behind at the gas station because they had to go to the bathroom and they left without him,
Oh God.
which I can
Yeah.
assume probably
I
happens every once in a while.
um
No,
I don't think we've ever like left anyone anywhere.
that's
I
not
think
bad.
there was one time that we have like in our van. There's like a bed in the back. It's like a bunk bed, and there's like the van seats in front of it. And there was one tour we were on where Zach was in like a gas station or something, and Brian like did like a roll call. He's like, "Is everybody in the van?" And then like, or no, it was Ian was in there, and Zach was. He said, "Yeah, Ian's back here under the bed," and like grabbed, said like he had a hold of his shoe, and we started dropping off because we thought he was in there. I mean, he said he was in there, and then we got like out of the parking lot, and he was like, "Oh no, I'm messing with you," and we're like, "What?" That wasn't even like a good joke. He said something believable, and then
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, that was like the only time that happened. But yeah, no, we haven't like besides that one time. We haven't like actually done that, which is surprising because I've heard of other people doing that as well.
Oh yeah. So no major
Yeah.
mishaps.
I mean, like we had stuff happen for sure. Like,
Right.
I mean, hopefully not again. There was one time our van we were driving from Dallas, Texas to Indianapolis, and I think we didn't have a day off in between, I don't think, and we had to make it there by like 5 or 6 p.m. the next day. We get to like Oklahoma, and it's like probably 1 or 2 in the morning, and our lights just start dimming really bad. And we realize like our alternator is going out, so we stop at a Walmart, and we are looking around. We're just thinking of ideas like what can we do to get there on time. And me and Jordan like find ourselves in the flashlight aisle. And there was one point in the band where Jordan said, "I hope that this van we run into the ground so hard
Right.
that we end up having to use flashlights to light up the road as our headlights, because that's what was draining the battery."
Right.
So we spent $40 on these flashlights that were, I think they were like 3,000 or like 4,000 lumens each, and headlights are like 800.
Wow.
So we're driving down the road, and we're lighting up like the whole road, like all of our lanes. We're lighting up like the lanes that are on the other side coming towards us, and everybody. I mean, everyone's blinded. Like people are like getting behind us because we're lighting everything up so bad, and like they can't see. So, but I mean, there's no low setting. It's either full blown,
Yeah.
like, or it's nothing. So we're just like, all right, whatever. We're getting there, so we're gonna do it.
Yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah, so we get down the road, and somebody actually, at the time we had this like 1989 E350, and since then we've gotten a new van. We've had 2 new vans since then, but we didn't care about that van really, and we just covered it in like Sharpie drawings, like the whole back of it and the side just said "Left Behind" all over it, and like had these like monsters all over it and stuff. And yeah, so we had that happen. We finally get to Oklahoma, and we get through a toll, and it's just the battery's dead. We have to get towed. We get towed to the shop. We get a new alternator, and at that point, I think we have like 5 hours to get to Indy. Like that's the amount of time we have to get there to the show, and I think we're like 8-9 hours away. So we're just booking it, and we're going like probably 80 down the interstate, and we're behind this Camaro, and we hit traffic somewhere, I think in Tennessee or Kentucky, and the Camaro slams on their brakes, and Brian, there's no way for him to stop.
Yeah.
So he just has to switch lanes and go around it, and like he slams his brakes still, like to try and like slow down. And like if we would have tried to like actually stop, we would have hit that Camaro, hit the BMW in front of it, and maybe stop by the time we got to the tractor trailer like 3 cars up. So we just look at Brian, we're like, whoa, you just saved our lives.
Yeah.
So we finally get to Indianapolis. I think we had 10 minutes left before we were supposed to play, and like everyone that was there that we were friends with was helping us load in. I think we loaded in like 5 minutes, plugged in, went straight in. And,
wow.
Like, it was absolutely nuts.
That's
like
crazy.
The craziest 24 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's insane.
And then our van broke down in Los Angeles, and that story is a bit quicker. We just broke down, transmission was out, and we ended up selling it for $200 to this like shop, and we rode with 2x4 and rented a U-Haul and rode across the country with them.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That's some crazy stuff.
Yeah, I mean, like, I guess towing that much, we've seen a good bit, and we've had our fair share of bad luck, so.
That's true, but I mean, obviously, once you're doing it that much, things are going to go wrong, but luckily it seems like everything got, was handled, everything worked out, so that's always the best part.
Yeah, I mean, like, with us being, like, toured, I think this was going to be, like, our 13th tour,
wow.
12th or 13th, and, like, with doing that many, and that's all the bad luck we've had, I think we're doing all right, so.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
All right, is there anything you want to add wrapping up?
Just that Seeing Hell's out April 8th through Unbeaten Records. And other than that, just come see us on tour.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time.
Hey, thank you.
Awesome.